Hey yo, what up? Welcome to Black Sabbath Entertainment. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and turn your notification bell on. Yo, we got an exclusive interview, man. Wack 100. He brings DJ Vlad TV on Clubhouse, and he interviews him with the 100 side. Now they discuss a whole lot of issues. They discuss the Kendrick Lamar beef. They discuss the situation with China Mac, Lil Boosie, Jim Jones. There's a lot of things that they discuss. So I'm gonna let the audio play, and then we're gonna get back to it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, turn notification bell on. Let's get into the content. Let's get it.
You go, Vlad. What's going
What's
on? What's
up?
going
What's
on?
good?
First time on Clubhouse
What's up,
ever.
Red
First time
Beard?
ever.
What's up, Red Beard?
What's up, everybody?
What up,
Hey,
What's
Oh,
Smoke?
going
welcome.
on,
Vlad.
Vlad?
Hey, man. Thank you for having me on, man. This is a big location here, from what I understand.
Absolutely is. And we do want to welcome you today to the 100 ENT exclusive interview with Wack 100. Today we are presenting you DJ Vlad TV. Most of y'all may know him from being the creator of Vlad TV, where you can find him interviewing some of the most prominent entertainers and celebrity figures. You may even consider his interviews controversial. Again, we want to welcome you to the 100 side of Clubhouse. How you doing today, DJ
I,
Vlad?
I am great. I am great. Another beautiful California day.
Right on, right on. Well, we do have our mods on stage. Much love to y'all. We will be asking you some questions today. Um,
hmm
we're going to hop right in it if you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, what's up, Vlad? This is Brock, man, from Houston. I was gonna start off by asking you your thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar and Drake rap beef, and I was gonna see what your thoughts was, who had the edge. But I seen you went viral last night for that very opinion on Kendrick's, yeah, on Kendrick's like that. So I said the universe was universing. So
Yeah,
can you elaborate on your back and forth with the young lady Morgan Jenkins last night on X?
sure. Yeah, y'all getting this first. I mean, look, I tweet a lot of stuff, and I tweet my opinion. In this particular case, I tweeted that the mix quality of Kendrick's new song just I think takes away from the record. And if you talk to any music person, they'll agree with me. The mix just sounds kind of rough, considering how big the song is. That was it. Put it out there. Um, you know, Next thing you know, millions of people are retweeting it and everything. I think it's up to like almost 10 million impressions now. And out of nowhere, that this woman that I don't know, her response, she tweeted me, said, "You are white. This is black folk business," saying that I can't even speak on this. Um, and when I looked, I saw that she claimed to be a professor at Princeton University. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. A Ivy League professor is telling somebody because they're white, they can't comment on the sound quality of a song made by a black person. That's insane. That's completely insane. Like, what if a black music blogger said, "Hey, I don't like the mixed quality of this new Taylor Swift song," and a white professor from Harvard said, "You are black. This is white folk business." Like, imagine the how people would go crazy over that. Like, so yeah, there was some back and forth over that. I thought it was ridiculous that someone of that stature could just talk so recklessly, considering that they're a professor at one of the top universities in a very multicultural environment. I would hate for that person to be my professor or the professor of one of my family members.
That is kind of crazy.
Is wild.
Especially, especially if we really talk about some of our top mixers and people we go to for the sound of music. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Fucking Mike Dean. You know what I
yeah.
mean? What the fuck are we talking about right now, right? Like,
Right. Mixed by Ali. I just ran into him the other day. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some top-notch mixers. I don't know, maybe Kendrick was trying to go for that rough sound, but to me, it just kind of took away from the final product. And look, tens of millions of people are listening to this. That's all I said. Didn't say anything about his lyrics. Didn't say anything about who's winning or anything else like that in that particular tweet. I just said the mixed quality is a little bit, subpar. That's it. That turned into a whole 10 million impression tweet. It's crazy.
yeah, there you go. Who we got up next, man? Who we got up next?
That's
Yo, what
AB.
up, Vlad?
Go ahead, Guap.
Yo, what up? What up, Vlad? This King Guap, man.
What's up, King Guap?
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
I wanted to ask you, man, how how do you feel about the people out here calling you a culture vulture?
Man, I mean, I think the new term that I'm being called now is colonizer. You know, I think with Kendrick's new,
Colonizer.
new
Fuck.
set of songs, colonizer has become the new culture vulture. Before culture vulture, it was honky, or cracker. It's the same thing. If you want to do a derogatory term against someone who's white, you will come up with something a culture vulture, honky, colonizer, cracker, whatever else. I take it all in stride, man.
Uh,
So do that.
here go the thing, Guap. Here goes the thing, right? When you call, like, when you look at music and you think about music and the business of music and what it takes for it to even get back to the people or to be created, the business of it, all of it, right? Um, that always confuses me, and I think Dame Dash is one of the ones that really like, kind of like, was really driving this culture vulture thing when he was going at people. Bro, at the end of the day, I swear to God, everybody I sat down and do business with, when it's time to do business, they didn't look like me, right? They're the ones that created a foundation, a situation for us to take what we knew how to do and get it to the masses. So it took everybody to do business. And you know what I mean? And this is really the American way of business, because this shit is a melting pot. This country don't belong to no fucking body. Everybody's here, right? So I kind of, and me and Cam just got off the phone because you see, I just put a post up, responded to him, right? When he puts up Drake, with the Jewish thing, and he puts up Rick Ross and Kendrick, with the Muslim thing, right? And I responded and said, well, since when did religion have anything to do with hip hop? If that's the case, let's delete all the hits produced by Scott Storch. He called me and he said, "You got me there." Like,
Mhm.
bro, music is fucking music, and whatever makes up music, the overall um, elements and dynamics of it, it has nothing to do with a fucking race or a fucking religion. Whoever has a platform for us to go and do interviews or so on and so forth, it has nothing to do with race or religion. I'm gonna say this and let it go. Everybody be talking about this Donald Trump racist shit. Motherfucker, rap music in the urban community is the one that introduced Donald Trump to us. Every fucking song before he was in office was money like Trump, jet like Trump. Everything was like Trump. We glorified Trump. But then when they want to take it and use it and say, hey, you're not this, you're not that, we're supposed to pay attention to it. But then business and music, but then anything, I don't give a fuck about your color, your race, your religion. If you know how to get the job done, you could contribute to this thing of ours that we're doing, that we all enjoy when it comes to entertainment and making money, then I'm all for it.
Now,
Period. Let's go, Dress.
all right. Hey, Vlad. My name is Dreas, and I'll be reading some questions that have been submitted from either the GOO, aka our general audience, or some of our various team members. And this question actually comes from Santana, and it says,
Mhm.
"How do you navigate the ethical considerations of your interview style, particularly regarding discussions on sensitive topics or with guests who may later face legal repercussions?"
Well, I mean, it's always going to be sensitive when you do a serious interview. When you talk about legal repercussions, we've always been extremely careful about speaking about topics that might still be, like criminal cases that might still be open. We don't talk about. If you've passed the statute of limitations, or if usually in our case, someone has already done the prison time for a particular situation. So they come out of prison, then they talk about it. And, they've earned the right to talk about it with a large portion of their life. You go and do a crime, you do 20 years, you get out, you've paid for, with your life, the ability to talk about that. The only exception that I'm ever aware of, where there were some sort of legal ramifications after the interview, was the Keefe D situation. But you also have to think that before I did the Keefe D interview, Keefe D wrote a book and talked about the exact
That's a
things that I
fact.
talked about in that interview.
Fact.
We actually had the book in our hands before we did the interview, and the book was essentially the blueprint to the questions of the interview. So if a person wants to write a book and publicly release it and then want to do interviews about the content in that book, that's really on them. But apart from that, there's been lots of times where I've purposely not talked about open cases. We've taken stuff out. I remember Draco the Ruler, when he was still fighting his case, he reached out. His manager reached out to us about doing an interview while he was still locked up, and I said no, because he still had an active case. It was like a shooting case, I believe. And I said, once he gets out, I'll do it, but I don't want to do the interview while he's locked up, because that might be used against him in his current case. And eventually he did, plead out to it. He got out, and then we did the interview. Rest in peace,
So
Draco.
you're thinking for some of these people.
Yeah, I'm always thinking for some for
Gotcha.
people.
Makes sense.
Always, 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 always. Like I said, apart from the Keefe D interview, you're not going to find anything that Vlad TV contributed to someone's downfall. You know what I'm saying? And now people could, so and so said this, and we think that. No, like, go through the court transcripts, and Wack, you're the expert at this. You know what I'm saying? Go through the court transcript. You're not going to see us cooperating. In fact, even in the Keefe D
You
situation,
denied them.
yeah, yeah. Even in the Keefe D situation, Las Vegas PD called me like a dozen times, wanting for me to cooperate with them and give them all of our raw footage, and I've always just ignored the phone calls. I refuse to cooperate with it, because my thing is that if you're going to interview with me, I'm not going to then turn around and cooperate with you, to try to put you in jail. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my best to protect the footage and protect whatever we have, to the best of our ability. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's already out, then it is what it is. But we're not going to work with the police. We're not going to cooperate with the police. Um, you know, this is just not what we do. And we have a track record of 16 years of not doing that.
Hey Vlad, it's Ebony. I wanted to know, is there any footage that you ever had to scrap due to it potentially compromising anybody's safety or freedom?
We have censored things. We have, if a person says something crazy, we'll be like, hey, we're going to take that out. Just letting you know right now, we're going to take that out. Um, we cut out stuff all the time. Sometimes it's us cutting it out. Sometimes the person that'll reach out to us, after the interview, before it actually gets aired, they'll ask us to remove something, and we've always been very gracious about that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Once it's out, sometimes it's a little bit dicey because it's already out and it's gotten recopied and everything else like that. But before it comes out, we always try to take stuff out, if necessary.
And is there any interview that you regretted doing?
Yeah, I remember this one guy that did an interview with us, who claimed, this was an interview that was brought to me by one of my interviewers, Sean Prez, who was an executive at Bad Boy for a long time
God,
and
shout
has
out
kind of been an
Sean.
integral. Yeah, a lot of people know who Sean Prez is. He does the Global Mix Awards, and very established person in the music industry. So he does a lot of interviews, for us. And he reached out to me and he said, hey, I got this guy. He was in the car when 50 got shot, and he used to be the former president of Murder Inc. And my own fault. I didn't do enough due diligence on the guy. I looked online. I saw he had some other interviews about the same topic. So I'm like, all right, go ahead and do the interview. So Sean Prez did the interview, and then a couple of days later, 50 Cent posted on his IG like a screenshot of the interview with the words fraudulent across the interview. So I called Ja Rule and Chris Gotti, and I'm like, do you guys know who this guy is? And both of them were like, we have no idea who this is. So I essentially had like a compulsive liar on our platform. So I took it down right away. And I heard some people pressed him over that whole situation. But yeah, that was one of those that I definitely regret. I should have done more research on my end.
Hey yo, Vlad, what's good, man? How you doing? This is Beast over here.
Hey, what's up?
I got a quick question for you, man. Have you ever felt after you did an interview? Have you ever felt like your life was going to be threatened, or has anybody threatened your life? Just you know what I mean,
Goddamn
knowing
right,
that you.
Wack 100.
Man, listen, I'm getting death threats right now, like in my DMs and in my tweets. Oh, you're gonna get stabbed, you're gonna die, rah, 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 all day long. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure most of these people are saying if they see me, they'll ask me for a picture. So yeah, I mean, there's always the occasional death threat, um, from someone you've never heard of, but ultimately, I'm here to do my job, and I'm not going to be deterred from doing my job because someone feels that I shouldn't be doing it, and they want to put out something in the universe like that. So yeah, I'm not tripping. At the end of the day, you know, I don't go in and check in with people and try to get certain street figures to handle my problems or anything else like that. If I have a problem, then I'll handle it on my own. You know what I
You
mean? I'll
gotta
try to take
really
precautions.
hate Vlad. You got like, listen, you have to really like, now you gotta think about it. Vlad interviews people. He asks questions and then they answer them. So you have to really be a certain type of guy to do, even if you see Vlad, right? Let's say you're that angry and you finally see him. There goes fucking Vlad. When you approach Vlad, his character, his smile, and how genuine he is, you gotta really be a fucked up dude to want to do something to Vlad. Straight up. Like, because you don't, what you hear right now is what you get. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna look at you like, hey, bro, what's the problem? Like, straight up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
it ain't like he's fucking running around here giving his. Vlad don't give too many opinions. You know what I'm saying? He talks about the facts and he asks fucking questions. So, and I feel it because, bro, Vlad, I swear to God, it could be some shit on the blog for months. If I start talking about that shit 5 months later, it's a big old
Hmm.
thing
Yeah.
all of a sudden. So I get it, and really, I love it. I don't give a fuck. I'm a worse version of Vlad. I will antagonize the fuck out of you. I don't give a fuck. Don't let me know I'm getting to you because I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
driving the deck. So we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna
Yeah,
keep it moving. Who
and,
else?
and I just want to say this, man. I know that sometimes it seems like based on online on social media that I'm hated everywhere I go, and that's the exact opposite, man. Every time I go outside, I go shopping or I go to the mall or wherever I'm at, there's always going to be a handful of people that are walking up to me, telling me how much they love my work, asking to take pictures of me, mentioning certain interviews. Like I have. I don't even remember the last time someone walked up to me upset over something. People are just happy, what I mean? And so you got to understand that online and real life really don't coexist. You know what I'm saying? They're totally different.
So that, Vlad, this is Lady Killer. I just have a quick question. I know
Hey.
you've done a lot of interviews.
Hmm.
What would you say, or do you have a top three? Like one of your favorite interviews? Name three, if you can.
I mean, the Keefe D interview definitely has to be the most important one, just because historically, what it essentially solved Tupac's murder. Now, I'm not saying I solved Tupac's murder, but it essentially laid out the entire
It
story
did.
with the only person who's in the car when it all happened. Everyone else in that car is dead, right? So the only living person in that car is Keefe, and you got although Keefe I think did something with BT, like a little short interview before them, like. This was the first time that essentially told Keefe's entire life story, what led up to the day of the shooting and what happened afterwards. So yeah, that definitely has to be probably the
One of
most
your
important.
tops.
Yeah, one of my tops. The interview with Smokey Robinson, I think, was definitely in my top, just because of how important of a musical figure that he is. This is the guy that helped, mold the Motown sound. I mean, he's like 80 something years old, and he's was able to go through all the hits and everything that they did. Um, Man, a third one. I think the interview with the guy from Milli Vanilli, Fab Morvan. I think that was a very important interview.
Wow, I didn't see that
Yeah.
Interesting.
one. I got to catch that one.
Yeah, I mean, because this is the first time in Grammy history that artists actually had to give back their Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that
like
shit
they
was
act.
crazy.
This is the first time ever because these guys were caught essentially lip syncing all their music, and and when if you know Grammys, there's a lot of Grammys. There's like best cover art, or best mixing, but they got like the best new artist Grammy, and I think they got like song of the year. So these are two major, huge Grammys that every artist wants to get, and they had to give them back. So the whole story behind it about how they kind of went along with the lip syncing and then had to give back their Grammys, and then one of the members ended up getting addicted to drugs and then dying of an overdose, and just a very powerful story.
Wow.
All right. Well, this is AB. Hi, DJ Vlad.
Maybe.
To counter that, what is your worst interview experience, and with who, and what part of your career was it?
I guess there's like certain interviews you do where you're like, you just don't gel with the person. The two you just don't vibe. I think my one interview I did with Lil Wayne just kind of went nowhere. He didn't really want to answer anything. Kind of gave one word answers. So you just kind of walk away feeling like you kind of had this opportunity and you kind of missed out just because. I kind of put it on myself. If me and a person don't vibe and it ends up being a bad interview, it's my fault. It's not the person's fault. For whatever reason, I just couldn't break the ice with that person. Um, you know, uh, for example, like I think the last interview with Orlando Brown, I'm not too pleased with that because I think Orlando has like serious mental illness,
That's
and
real.
Mm.
I'm with you
so
with
you
that.
kind of, yeah, and this is why you haven't seen him back. Like I know I could bring Orlando back and he'll get like 5 million views, but I'm speaking to someone with mental illness who's not lucid.
He's saying
So
some crazy shit.
yeah, he said, but it's not worthwhile. I feel. I think the last
But
interview was
see
booked.
now, Vlad, that's the side that they don't give you credit for. Because
Mm,
most motherfuckers gonna say, yo, that dude gonna bring 5 million views. Fuck what y'all talking about. Hey, that's
yeah,
him saying it, not me. You're saying, well, you know what? I see something there, and it's possible that he might say some things that should not be said because what he's saying is just so far from the truth or just not cool. So you choose to say, well, fuck the business, fuck the numbers, fuck the benefits of it. Morally, I'm gonna stay away from it, and they don't give you credit for that.
That
yeah,
is
yeah. No,
facts.
I try to, like I said, and there's lots of other platforms that still interview them. And that's their choice. But for me, yeah, you're not going to see Orlando back on the platform again, just because, like I said, it's mental illness, and I think it's very clear. And you see him going through that, like every so often, you'll see him just getting arrested in some crazy situations, like he's like seems like he's homeless sometimes. Like, yeah, I'm good on that.
Hi, DJ Vlad. This is Keela. I want to play a little game with you. It's called Country Shots with Keela.
Okay.
So, what I'll do, we're going to do this rapid fire style. I'll give you two artists, and you pick the one that you favor or the one you prefer.
Sure.
You can only pass once. Okay?
Okay.
You
Yeah,
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
I would say Drake right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sexy Red or Ice Spice?
Ice Spice.
Okay. Chris Brown or Quavo?
Chris Brown.
Eminem or Jay Z?
I would say Eminem.
Okay. King Von or Chief Keef?
King Von.
Nicki Minaj or Cardi B?
Cardi B.
Yay! Okay. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Okay. Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift.
Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey?
Whitney Houston.
Okay. NBA Youngboy or Lil Durk?
NBA YoungBoy.
Yo, I think that's the first time they didn't hit Vlad with that one.
Was a dope one.
That was a good
Yeah,
one. Yeah, I was 50-50 of what
that
he
was
was gonna
dope.
say.
He
I was
did.
50-50. I just knew he was gonna say fucking Jay-Z.
Now,
That was
Eminem, man, it's one of those things where I think Eminem, I'm a big Jay Z fan too, but I think Eminem kind of struck a chord, and I think when you look at the one time they did a song together, I think Eminem kind of got the edge on Jay, which is a Renegade. That's my
Oh
personal
no,
opinion. But
I'm an
Jay
Eminem
Z was
fan.
spitting, but
I'm an Eminem fan. I'm one of those that catch the flack when they ask me the top 5 and shit. I gotta hear all the bullshit. Oh, he's the culture of all this shit. Like, yo, bro, it was no. This dude created the art of I'ma troll myself. So what you gonna say about me? And it was hard to do that. It was hard. It was hard to fuck with him. Like, period. So, then they always say, well, how many people you hear rolling around bumping Eminem?
mm,
Well, it's a lot of people listen to that music because right now today, that old rapper, as we would call him, could drop something and he's going to outsell one of these young, fresh rappers right now today.
yeah,
Right now
facts.
today. Where
Yep.
the fuck is Bang at, man? Where's Bang at? Bang on the
I'm
show?
right here, boy. I'm right here.
Well, man, what you waiting on, man? Because you asked the most questions. Vlad in the building. There you go, man. I want to hear
Man,
your questions, man.
say Vlad, this Bang, bro. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, hey, I want to know, like, I'm assuming that all the interviews you did, right? Like, you don't know everything about everybody that you bring on the platform. Like, what type of preparation goes into these long documentary style interviews that you do? Like, how long does it take you to do all this research?
I
Yo,
mean,
this Black Savage Entertainment, man. Make sure you
there's
subscribe to the
always a lot of
channel, like this
research. I
video,
mean, in
man.
fact, I
About to
won't.
get heated,
A
man.
lot of
Stay
times
tuned.
I've turned down interviews that kind of fell in my lap same day just because I don't have time to actually prepare for them. But I have, my assistant, uh, Evan. He does kind of the initial research for me, so I'll get like a block of research already, and we know we've worked together for like 10 years now. So I get a block of research and then I go and do my own research, and sometimes it'll take sometimes I'll do it all that morning. I wake up really early, or sometimes I'll spend a couple days with it. If it's a music artist, I'll spend a few days listening to their music. I'll watch other interviews they do. I watch any documentaries that they've done. We've read books that they've put out, if that's the case. And and plus, I'm 50 years old and I've been in hip hop almost all my life. I used to read every double XL and Source magazine that came out religiously from front to back. So, I have a certain amount of just knowledge and memories that aren't on the internet in my head about a particular artist, as well as, being fans of a lot of different artists.
Right,
So
right.
it's a lot of preparation, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. I mean, like, our thing is that we want to be more prepared than anyone else. We want to be more researched than anyone else. So when you sit down, there's going to be some things discussed that a lot of people don't know about.
What's a bucket list interview for you?
Well, DJ Vlad, this is Keela again. I want to thank you for participating in that. But I saved that NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk comparison for last because I have a question for you regarding the discussion you had with Boosie on your show. I have a clip from that episode, and so if you all could play that for DJ Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
Audio.
He actually referenced one of our other interviews. We interviewed his old manager, this dude, Jeezy, Anthony Jeezy Gonzalez. That was his old manager, ended up getting locked up. And Pusha T mentioned, basically, he mentioned the interview on one of his songs, on a song called Brambleton. I mean, we get mentioned a lot these days. I mean, 2 Chainz had a song called Vlad TV on his album. Lil Durk said he don't fuck with me on his new album.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure why. I honestly have no idea why. No, really, I have no idea why. Because last time we did an interview with Durk some years back, we was cool. At one point, I pulled up on him in LA. I remember in the Maserati. I was really supporting a lot of his early shit. We did a bunch of interviews back in the day. So I'm not quite sure why he don't fuck with me anymore. Maybe he'll reach out, we'll work it out. I still fuck with him. Look, I mean, on the...
Okay.
Yeah,
That clip is classic because his lack of response was hilarious to me. But my
Yes.
question is, I know you said that Dirk said he didn't fuck with you on that
Yeah.
album. What is the status of your relationship with Dirk at this time?
I mean, I haven't spoken to Dirk in a lot of years. But what had happened, I found out after the fact because academics did an interview with him and we spoke about it. I think they spoke about it offline, but academics essentially told me what the conversation was. What had happened was my last interview with Dirk, which was, I think it was like around 10 years ago or 8 years ago or something like that. Uh, he was talking, he had mentioned that he had a baby on the way, and I think he mentioned the gender of the baby. And his after the interview came out, his people reached out to my people and was like, "Hey, can you take out the part about the gender?" And I think what happened was just the lines got crossed, and it took my staff a couple of days to take it down, which I didn't know about. And I guess that kind of ruined some of the baby announcements that he had with his girl India. And he was mad at me about that, which is understandable. Once I saw that that was the actual reason, I felt bad about it. This wasn't something that we did on purpose. I mean, this is not what we ever do. We would never like have someone ask us to take out something, which I mean, like, we're not like Shade Room. We don't do baby announcements. Like, I have a 90% male audience. Like, they don't care about a rapper having a baby. So this wasn't something that we was just trying to like sneak out or whatever else. We were just more disorganized back then as a company, and the person that was supposed to do it ended up not moving fast enough and didn't take it down. We did take it down a couple days later. So, I can understand that, him and his girl, are upset about this, and, he's still with the same girl. So, um, I can understand why he's like, I don't fuck with Vlad, because when he comes home, his girl don't fuck with me. So it's understandable. I publicly apologized about it. I feel bad about it. And, hopefully at one point we could sit down and do something else. But if not, I understand, because when it comes to family, that's more important than any, industry type relationship. So that's the story behind, me and Lil Durk.
Okay, well, I hope so because I look forward to seeing that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
hey,
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 this pit. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
you
Go
good, Pete?
ahead. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, this pit bull, beloved. How you doing, my brother?
What's up, man?
Man, all right, I got a question for you, man. This is coming from the goo. The goo is down there beneath us. This is a good question. Reflecting on your journey with Vlad TV, are there any lessons you've learned from mistakes or decisions you might have handled differently? And if given the chance, and how have these experiences shaped your approach moving forward?
I mean, look, it's always a learning process. You're gonna, I never went to business school. I never took management courses. So, there was a lot of things that I could have done differently along the way. But, y- you know, it's all part of a learning process. There were, how shall I say it? Like, sometimes you put your trust in people, and you find out that they weren't really your friends, that they were, just opportunists. But that doesn't really make you change who you are as a person. You just realize that you didn't put your trust in the right people. So you make those mistakes, but you don't really change from the mistakes, because I am who I am, and I embrace people. I fuck with people. That there's people that have been on my show for a decade, that I've helped. You know, I've helped them immensely. In terms of getting more shows, getting movie roles, putting money in their pocket, anything else like that. So I really don't have a lot of regrets. There's been a lot of there's been stumbles along the way, but you learn from those stumbles and you keep it moving.
Now, this is Dreas again, Vlad. Hey. So, quick
Hmm.
question. With all this talk of the big three, right, as far as podcasting, if you can name your
Yeah.
big three of podcasting, who would your team be with? And that is from DBS out of the goo.
Um, including myself or not including myself?
However you want to roll the dice. How
All right,
about both
I'm
of
not. I'm
them?
not
Both
gonna.
of
I'm
them.
not gonna include. Listen, I'm not gonna include myself
Nah,
because
you gotta, because that
you got
takes
it.
away from you. Gotta, yeah.
All
Vlad
right.
said
All right. So
Vlad
I'll
gotta
put
be.
myself. On the YouTube side, I think I'm probably one of the biggest on the YouTube side. I mean, I know that other people have different followings and other platforms. On the YouTube side, I think Vlad TV is definitely, in the top three. I think academics right now is in the top three as well. You could really tell how central he is in the whole Drake Kendrick beef, and how he has relationships with everybody, and how his opinion, I think, really matters when he starts to break down things. I think that a lot of people respond. I mean, from the Meek Mills to whoever else. I think his voice carries a lot of weight. So if I were to go with the other one, I would think Charlemagne. I think Charlemagne has been a strong voice, and I was the first one to put Charlemagne on a mixtape when he was still a local DJ in South Carolina. So me and him go back way before Vlad TV, like probably close to 20 years at this point. But he still has a really big voice. He still gets a lot of big interviews, and yeah, he does his thing. And also on the multimedia side, not only in his radio show, but in his podcasts, his books. He has bestsellers. He put other people on to put out books. He's got the Black Effect where he put on other podcasts. Like Gangster Chronicles. And those guys that kind of helped start. Well, Mob James I helped start, who was an original member of the Gangster Chronicles. So yeah, I think that's a good big three. Me, academics, and Charlemagne.
Nice.
Now, Vlad, this is Lady Killer one more time.
Mm-hmm.
I have one last question. I know
Mm-hmm.
you were born in Ukraine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, how did a kid like you growing up get so fascinated towards hip hop?
Well, I was born in the Ukraine, but at the time it was part of the USSR, so it was really part of Russia, right? And coming to the U.S. at about 5 years old, not knowing the language, having to learn English as my second language, and then having my family move to San Mateo, California, which is a suburb of San Francisco in Northern California. I was put in an area where there were no other Russian kids. And you got to understand that at the time, this was the 80s, and the US and Russia were in a very serious Cold War, to the
Right.
point where a lot of people thought there might be like a nuclear war was really like in people's minds at the time. There was even like TV shows called The Day After that would kind of talk about what would happen if there was a nuclear war, and things were very tense. And being a Russian kid named Vlad, and being the only Russian kid in the whole school, I was bullied a lot. I was treated really bad by other kids. Kids would tell me they could shoot me and they would get away with it because I'm Russian, and like shit like that. So I really started to gravitate towards the black kids and the Spanish kids and the Filipino kids who were kind of going through the same type of thing in their own way. And hip hop was sort of the soundtrack to what we were all going through. So when hip hop became a national phenomenon, which was for me was right around fourth grade. Like hip hop songs started to, occasionally pop up on the radio. There's hip hop 12 inches would show up at, stores like Warehouse Records. I just really gravitate towards it. I was a break dancer early on, and I really kind of fell in love with I fell in love with the whole thing, and it just became kind of a lifetime journey. But from elementary school, I was really all into it, and I think it was just like the story of the struggle and how I could relate to it myself, going through what I was going through at the time.
Wait, I have to
For
circle
sure,
back.
for
Well,
sure.
Do you still break dance?
Nah,
Right.
I think
Because
I'm not
that would be
breaking this
crazy
anymore.
seeing you
Nah,
break dance.
I'm not even gonna. Shout out to Jadakiss. I saw him do a windmill
Have you
like
ever
not too long
rapped
ago, and that
before?
was.
Did you want to become a rapper before?
I played around with it like in
Okay.
college because when I went to when I went to UC Berkeley, uh, that was the first time I actually was around real rappers. So like Souls of Mischief and Dell would be hanging out on Telegraph Ave, and it was actually like, oh wow, like these guys that are my age are now signed to major labels, and songs that I'm listening to and playing on the radio, they're actually you know it, like I'm actually seeing them. So it kind of became a little bit more real for me. So I started making beats right around that time, and I kind of played around with rapping, but I knew I wasn't very good at it. I think I rapped it. Some of the rappers I was producing, I think I rapped at one of their shows, but I knew right away it wasn't really for me. And then over time, I saw that even producing wasn't really for me because I knew I was never going to be Dr. Dre or DJ Premier, and that eventually kind of led me into the DJing, which kind of set off a whole chain of events. You
I
know what I'm saying?
got
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
We got
Yes.
Of
So,
course.
oh,
one
go ahead.
second. Drewby, where Drewby at? Because Drewby
What's
had a
it?
question. Drewby, what was that question you had for Vlad?
Oh, I had a couple questions.
Hmm.
First I wanted to ask you about Charleston White. Why
Yeah.
you? Because I seen a couple interviews you had did, and I
Hmm.
wanted to like I seen one where you were saying that that you didn't want him back on the show because
Right.
of how he spoke about kids and things like that. But then I seen another interview where you was interviewing Boosie and you was like, "Well, you called me
Yeah.
and told me not to bring him back on the show." So I was just trying to figure out like what's your real issue with Charleston White?
Well, I had done two interviews with Charleston. The first interview I did was fairly early on.
Right,
I think he had been on Say Cheese like once, and we did an interview, and it did good numbers. I mean, he has he's a smart guy. He has an interesting perspective,
right,
and we got along well, and the interview did well. And then afterwards, he kind of went off on Asians, and he was saying how he was going to rape Asian babies, and he was like,
Yeah, he
"Fuck the
wild.
Asians," and all this other type of shit. And I remember me and him got on a phone call, and I was like, "Look, man, like th- this ain't it." And on top of it, you're going to get your YouTube channel shut down if you continue on this path. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, he got his YouTube channel shut down. But he was like, "Nah, that's not really me, and that's not really how I feel." So I said, "All right, cool, I'll bring him back on," and we kind of addressed that. And you know, I was sort of 50-50 with it. And
right.
then like you mentioned, Boosie reached out to me and he was like, "Yo, like Charleston is talking about my kids. Would you, can you not feature him anymore?" And I'm like, "Cool, I got you." I was already on the fence about it already. And when I heard that, when I heard that he's talking about his kids, I was like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And of course, when when that got released, Charleston's like, "I hope your kids die,"
Damn.
about me. And then like, Matt Hoffa, who's a regular on my show, I think Charleston said he's gonna rape his daughter and that type of shit. And it's just like I'm cool with that. I understand that it's trolling, and his Charleston's take is like, "Oh well, ever since I got out of prison, I haven't done anything illegal. It's just words." But
Right.
most people die over words.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's the actions, but most times people die over words. So you could troll and you could say whatever you want to say, and I get it, and whatever else. But when you start talking about people's kids and raping kids and hoping kids die and everything else like that, it's just not something I want to be associated with. So
No,
so
that's
that
real.
that's basically how I feel. This is why you won't see Charleston back on the platform.
No, that's real. I don't condone that. I don't know, man. I tell people like a woman's a woman. I don't care what race they are. So every time I hear him say that, like, we rape white women, like that shit is
Yeah,
cool. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
you're not, oh, you supposed to agree with me because you black. Nah, brother. When I was in prison, we didn't check the race of the woman you raped. If you had a rape on your paperwork, we dealt with you.
That's
Period.
a
So I
fact.
don't. Yeah, I
Any
don't.
race, any
You
race.
know,
Rape is rape. We
right.
don't give a fuck.
yeah, yeah,
That-
yeah. I mean, to be bragging about rapes, like
That's
like
crazy.
like I mean, and I remember I talked to academics about this. He's like, "Oh, well, he's just playing a character." I'm like, "A character of a
That
rapist,
ain't no
of a
care.
pedophile? What kind of
That
character
ain't
is
no
that?"
character. That ain't no.
No,
That's
that's
weird.
not it. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. And look, listen, Charleston has his own level of success in what he's doing, and you know he's willing to die over it, and that's his business. But that doesn't mean that we have to be part of that journey.
That's a fact. Okay, so another question I wanted to ask you. I
Hmm.
was like I was listening to you when you was talking about the story in regards to the person that gave you the bad information, and I was watching the interview where you had did that you was telling that same story in the barbershop. But like what I was curious about, right? Because I watched a couple of your interviews, and I noticed you had Yayo on there and a
Hmm.
couple of other people from G Unit, but you never
Yeah.
got 50 Cent on there.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I've run into 50. We've done little videos, like, kind of spur of the moment things here and there. Me and 50 are cool with each other, according to Yale. I haven't physically spoken to him in quite a while. And that interview might happen at one point, but 50's 50, man. He's a giant, and he could interview with whoever in the world that he wants. And, and he has so much money that we can't offer him enough money for it to be worthwhile to him. You see
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Whereas,
Facts.
and we could still make a profit in the process. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right, right,
so
right,
it's one of those things where, at some point, if he feels that we're the right outlet for what he's trying to get out,
right,
then it may happen. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm cool with Yayo. He's a regular guest. I'm cool with Young Buck. He's been on before. But I'm also cool with Game. And one thing that I mentioned last time when I did the Yayo interview was Yayo and Uncle Murder was that I don't let my guests kind of bash each other. So you don't hear Yayo talking bad about Game. You don't hear Game talking bad about Yayo. I mean, there are certain things that happen and we talk about it, but it's not like we're not trying to escalate any problems between our guests.
understandable, understandable. Now, one more question.
Hmm.
My last question, because I don't want to take up too much your time, but it was about the P Diddy situation.
Hmm.
Now I had seen a video where you said if he would have invited you at 2 o'clock in the morning, you would have went,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't have been under the impression that it was on the parties. You know how everybody else describe them, but like, what you think about that whole situation? Do you think, you know what I mean, it has any truth to it, or you think it's just hot smoke?
I mean, look. I mean, right now Diddy's going through it, and there's a pylon, and that happens when someone is getting canceled. Everyone comes out with a story trying to, reinforce the narrative.
Right.
But look, like at the end of the day, you can't deny that Diddy's a genius,
Yeah,
right?
geez, yeah, I
Look
agree.
at this. Look at his track record. Like Diddy's track record speaks for itself. It wasn't just one artist. Like he's been hot since the '90s, right? Like he's
That's a
consistently
fact.
put out and broken new artists over and over and over again, and had hit TV shows, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So genius works on its own timetable. Like, what rapper do you know? If Dr. Dre called him in the middle of the night, say, "Hey, listen, I got an idea for a song. Come to my room so we could hash it out." What an up and coming rapper is going to say? No, I think you're going to rape me. Like, nah, they're going to show up and see what's going on. If Steven Spielberg called the up and coming actor and said, "Hey, I think I got a movie role for you. Come over." Yo, you gonna come over and see what it is. Like, just because someone calls you at a certain time doesn't mean they want to rape you. Like, I don't think Diddy wants to rape me. I don't think I'm his type.
Yeah, yeah.
According to Cassie, I'm not his type.
Dude.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Listen, if someone opportunity comes at various times, and like Kobe. Like if you look at Kobe's track record, the players that he got along with were the ones that he would call in the middle of the night, and they would show up to the gym with him. And the
Right.
ones like the Smush Parkers who would like, "Hey, no, listen, I'm asleep. I'll see you tomorrow." Kobe would end up hating those guys and getting him off the team. So look, at the end of the day, opportunity doesn't come at your schedule. It comes at someone else's schedule.
I
And you have
agree.
to be there to take advantage of it. And, now if I showed up and he had his robe open and shit like that, I would turn around and walk right out. I'm
That would
good.
have went different, huh, Vlad? That shit would have been like, oh,
I
wait.
wouldn't
Yeah,
even,
you know,
I'm my
yo,
own
that would have been.
bodyguard. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But
that's
but
what's
I've
up,
never been
man.
put in that type of position by a man before, and so I wouldn't think twice of it. And I think people are just trying to put a little extra on it right now.
Yeah, he ain't that type of dude. I don't think he's not just approaching people to be approaching people like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that ain't what that is.
Right.
R&B up there. You got any questions for him, R&B? She up there?
She definitely up there, Wack. But
She up there.
yeah,
All right, go. Who was keyed up
Yeah,
next?
I was gonna
We
I
jump
have
think
back up.
Bang.
you got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Okay,
was
Bang.
gonna jump back in
we
there.
have Bang up now.
Hey Vlad, I wanna ask you a couple of questions about YouTube again. What's your bucket list interview? I wanna start off with that.
Bucket list: Barack Obama,
Barack.
Eminem, and Warren Buffett.
Gotcha. All right, and who started off the clips trend, Vlad?
I think I did, to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge, because you got to think that I launched Vlad TV in 2008. This was right when YouTube became, the partner program started, and it became an actual business platform. And the thought was back then was that every day I'm going to release a new piece of footage, a new piece of content every day, 365 days a year.
Right.
And I wasn't going to be able to do that by doing a whole new interview every single day. So the idea was, hey, I'm going to do an interview maybe a few times a week, and I'm going to chop up those pieces and put them out. So every day I'll have something to put out that's original and unique. And no one really understood that back then, that they thought it was too much, that no, like people are only going to watch the full interview and no one's going to see this. But over time, I started to realize that I had actually made the right decision. I kind of was thinking ahead about how things were going to turn out, because when you look at these days, what do people say? Oh, I'm going to clip that up. So now everyone's clipping it. And my thinking these days, now we put out like 10 clips a day. And my thinking is that if we don't do it, someone else is going to do it for us anyways, and they're going to profit off of it. So why not clip it up ourselves, put it out, and then we could actually monetize it. And then, there's also the thing of, on a business level, sometimes, you don't have control over what YouTube, when YouTube demonetizes your videos. Sometimes you have a full interview and the whole interview gets demonetized, and there's not a whole lot you could do about it, especially if the content is a little bit, a little bit serious. So the thinking is, well, if we put out a bunch of clips, some of them will make it through, and maybe some of them will
Some
get
of them won't.
demonetized. But almost like, if you're shipping kilos over the border, like, some of them might get caught, but a few of them will get through, and that'll pay for the next shipment. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I look at it.
So
We don't want everything to lose out all at once. So that's why we break it up.
so you going on the record and saying that you started the clips wave on YouTube.
I think so. Yeah, I
All right.
think so. Yeah.
All right. And the other waves you want to take credit for while we on the record?
Um.
Subscription base
I mean, I think
and sub base shit you do, that's your shit.
the
When it
what
comes the subscription base, when it comes to this podcast thing, that's you.
the membership thing.
Yeah, that's you. When it
Yeah,
comes to the
I think we
podcast
started
side
that
of it.
early. I mean, we were one of the early ones. Like the whole talking behind the talking behind the camera, asking questions behind the camera. We're probably the first ones on YouTube to do it, but the DVD era guys, like the All Access DVD and Smack DVD and Raw Report, they were kind of doing that already. So I can't take credit for that. But I was part of the DVD era as well. But I think on YouTube, a lot of those guys didn't transition, so we were probably the first ones on YouTube to do it. And now you see a lot of platforms like the Sean Cottons and so forth who do that as well. And I think that's great.
And I'm gonna let y'all know, just cause Vlad don't be on the camera, Vlad be over there swagged up, Burberry the fuck out, all kind of shit. So
Every time,
yeah, I swear to God, he
every
do.
time,
he be fresh.
every time.
Vlad be
But
fresh,
you know what,
Wack.
He
man?
be fresh as a motherfucker.
I'm
I
always
can't
fresh.
front.
But you know what it is though? Like, but here's the thing. Like, for 10 years, all I was wearing was merch, or like clothing companies like Stahl and Dean or 5-4 that would give me free clothes. And I would go to Foot Locker and go straight to the clearance section. I would buy whatever I could afford. And when you see a lot of my old pictures, like I'm wearing that type of shit. But at the point where I became, financially okay, it was like, all right, well, now I could actually wear what I want to wear. And people like to make comments about it, but if you could go into a Gucci store and every item in there is $10, would you wear Gucci or would you wear Walmart? Because at the level I'm at, it's like $10 to me. It doesn't really make a difference what I spend on clothes. So I wear what I like.
Yes,
Yo,
I
sir.
feel you. We
yo,
feel you.
Vlad.
I'm like
To
popular shit.
yeah, to wrap
Yes,
it up though, I
yes.
was trying to get this one in with Vlad. You transitioned to many stages in your career. I know you started, getting into it as hip hop, dancing, DJ, and then now you one of the leaders in independent media and journalism. That's like a lane that a lot of kids are aspiring to jump into, and as somebody that's considered the godfather of independent media and hip hop. Elaborate on what you think your legacy is and what role do you see yourself playing as the lane progresses?
Well, I think that what our legacy is that up until we came around, I felt like hip hop media and interviewing was pretty lame. I felt that it was like promo for the artist, and it was mostly radio based. It was very quick. It would ask just a bunch of promo questions and very light type of content. And I would watch, like something like my favorite program on TV is 60 Minutes. So I would watch 60 Minutes and I would see how hard they would go in the questions, and I would see the effect that 60 Minutes would have on the world, on laws, on you know uh, foreign relations. Like it goes that deep, and I try to bring that level of journalism. I brought it to the hip hop world, and that's why a lot of people say I'm the police or I'm the feds or whatever, because up until I started doing it, they weren't asking those types of questions. I mean, now it's pretty commonplace, but back then, no one ever did it, and no one would talk about, if a rapper talked about a bunch of gang stuff in their lyrics, they would go and do an interview, and the interviewer would never mention any gang type questions at all. But when you go to the barbershops, that's all people are talking about. So I think that that's what the legacy is that we sort of pushed journalism, hip hop journalism, into the boundaries of real journalism. And now it's a lot more accepted. But back then, I mean, listen, we took the jabs and the people talking about us and everything else like that, because we were kind of the only ones doing it.
And your
Hey,
legacy going forward, like what do you see yourself? What role do you see yourself playing as it progresses?
I think that these days what we try to do is really get a lot of people's life stories and really document important people of this era. For example, like Wack, he helped set up the interview with Game. There's been a lot of Game interviews. There's probably easily been over 100 Game interviews, but we're the only ones that actually allowed him to tell a story from birth to where he is right now, and talking about all the major milestones, all the victories, and also all the failures along the way, all the losses and all the wins. And not everybody gets a documentary made about them. Uh, but someone like John Witherspoon, we did his last interview, and it was a life story piece about him. And if you're a fan like John Witherspoon, like I am, there's only one place to actually find out about his story. So I think that we really try to document a lot of important people who I admire, whether they're rappers, singers, producers, professional athletes, politicians, gangsters, entrepreneurs, on and on and on. People who I admire, who I find interesting, and actually getting their whole story, because these stories are inspirational. And most times, 95% of the people, they started out relatively either poor or middle class, and got to where they are by their own effort and their own drive. And watching things like this inspire future generations to say, hey, I could do it. Like, when we did the feature on Boosie's house, he talked about how when he got locked up for the murder charges, which he ended up beating, he lost his house. He lost all his cars. He came out dead broke. And he said, okay, next time, I'm not going to let them take my house. So he bought a big plot of land, bought like 60 acres in Georgia. And week by week, 20,000 here. He would do shows and take the money back home and then start to build his house. And now he has this huge estate with like 7 houses and like a whole city in the back. But this is something that a lot of people could do. This is something that, you know, all the people living in the Midwest and the South, they could buy a plot of land and build their dream house piece by piece. They don't have to feel like, well, I'll never accomplish that because I can't afford a $5 million house. No, like, here's a guy who came from a similar circumstance as a lot of our viewers, showing how he was able to really build multi-generational wealth one piece at a time legally, just by hard work. And these are the type of things that we want to put out, and you know, we just want to inspire the next generation and future generations.
Hey Vlad, to go off of that, I have one more question. It's Pitbull. Is there any interview that you ever done to where you had to make the executive decision to not release the interview for any reason?
Um, not really, not release it.
It was one you did, but then you
Uh,
eventually did, Vlad.
which
R.
one?
Kelly, the R. Kelly
Well,
interview.
okay, so with the R.
You
Kelly
did
thing,
that,
Oh
Vlad.
no,
shit,
yeah,
y'all.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Hold
let's
on,
talk about that.
Vlad. You
Yeah,
did
well,
the interview,
that one got released. So
and
what
then I
happened was,
start doing the shit.
yeah,
I think
uh,
I might have massaged the bullshit, and didn't you let it go?
right.
Cause
Well,
you had
what
that
happened with the R.
ability.
Kelly? Yeah, so the R. Kelly interview, we, you know, one of R. Kelly's people reached out and said, "Hey, R. Kelly wants to do an interview," and I'm like, "All right, cool." And I thought it was going to be like, okay, let's talk about R. Kelly's career and everything else like that. But once the interview started, and he had a very limited amount of time because he's talking from a federal jail phone, the first thing he did was talk about how they had illegally leaked out his phone calls to like his girlfriend, and that's why she turned against him. And then Tasha K was involved in that, and he's gonna file a lawsuit and everything else like that. And that was the whole, like, literally, I couldn't ask anything else. The whole conversation was him talking about that. So once that interview was done, I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this, because you know, you have to be careful about releasing certain things because you could potentially get hit with lawsuits and, you know, defamation and, you know, whatever else. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put this aside for now. But then what happened was, months later he actually filed a lawsuit, and all the stuff he talked about in the lawsuit was in the interview. So I'm like, okay, well, now that this is out and it's actually, there's legal papers behind it, now we could actually put it out and not have to worry about potential like legal ramifications. Because look, I mean, look at Tasha K and Cardi B. Like, she she basically is having to hide all her money and file bankruptcy and do all this stuff over an interview, over getting sued over an interview. Like, no one
No,
wants to
no,
be in
no.
that position.
She made an accusation. She made a
Right.
serious accusation. Now, Vlad, just so you know, I know you looked up and said, "Fuck is Wack on Tasha K like this?" Right? I was, I was summoned to put that work in so
Okay.
R. Kelly could get the doors of appeal open. So if you really pay attention, everything, the very reason why you was holding it, that's what I was attacking. That's what I was attacking so the doors could open. I told
Okay.
them, I said, hey, I said, listen, once the doors open up, Vlad's gonna release the fucking interview. Remember
Yeah.
I came down there, well, I don't know if Gang was down there. I said, yo, they're calling me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
I,
remember. Yeah.
I told you. I said
Yeah.
when you guys file, he'll release. He
Yeah.
just didn't want to. Vlad ain't fucking around on those lines, right? If it's too
Yeah.
close, he's just gonna he's gonna play it safe. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people that. And as a businessman, you gotta respect that. You have to respect that a motherfucker is not gonna roll the dice for you when it's when
Yeah.
he's gonna
Man,
be the
look,
one that dealing with the
Tasha
ramifications.
K, you know, even holding the whole Cardi B lawsuit that she lost, tried to appeal, couldn't appeal, you know, lost the appeal. She went after like Kevin Hart, and I remember she was like celebrating that she had, like, part of the lawsuit. I think the extortion part got tossed out, not mentioning there was other parts of the lawsuit that are still going forward. And who the hell wants to be in a lawsuit with Kevin Hart, who's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars, who could just sue you just to fuck with you?
That's real.
You know what I mean? Like protecting yourself. Tasha K is not in a position to throw out an extra $100,000 to protect herself in a lawsuit. She's just not. Kevin Hart is, and you're sitting there poking bears that you know you're not supposed to be poking. So yeah, I try to avoid potential problems whenever I can.
There's another one you didn't release though, Vlad. You ain't released that Thomas Sotomayor.
Right.
Which
Okay. Yeah.
one?
So there's that one. All right. So I'll talk about that. So I had interviewed Tariq Nasheed on my platform. He came on my platform, and cool dude. We had a really good conversation. We had a good interview. Very polite, very professional. Came out and did good numbers. And then I remember I put it out. A lot of people in the comments were like, "Oh, you should interview Tommy Sotomayor." Like, and I wasn't really familiar with who he was. So I was like, "All right." A lot of people are asking for it. Let me just reach out to him, not really knowing his background. So we started doing the interview. I didn't realize that Tommy was like anti-black women. Like he bashes black women all the time, and also bashes black people all the time. So that kind of put sort of a bad taste in my mouth as we're doing the interview, and I'm trying to argue with some of the points that he's making, saying like this is not a black person thing, this is a poor person thing, right? You take any race of people and you put them in this type of
Or the civilian.
situation, they're all going to act similarly. It has nothing to do with race. It just is what it is. Now, unbeknownst to me, Tommy and Tariq Nasheed had been beefing at it real bad. I never even
Right.
asked Tommy any questions about Tariq Nasheed. Like literally, you could ask Tommy these days. We didn't even get into any questions about Tariq. But I guess Tommy was on social media saying that, oh yeah, I'm about to do Vlad TV, whatever else. And Tariq saw that. And I guess Tariq, I saw him say something in an interview saying, like, oh, I brought Tommy in to bash him, which was not the case. Because like I said, I never even mentioned him up to the point of that interview. So in the middle of the interview, Tariq Nasheed, knowing where our studio is and us not having good security in the studio at that time, he literally runs into the room and confronts Tommy on camera. And I'm looking at this going like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't even know these two even had beef. And then the two of them are arguing, and Tariq is getting in Tommy's face, and he brought him like this like racist award that he was trying to give him, and rah rah rah. And so this is happening. Tommy's looking at me like, "Oh, you set me up." I'm like, "I didn't set you up. You're the one on social media announcing this shit." This guy had just did an interview here a month ago. Put two and two together. Why would I set up another guest to confront another guest? Like that's never happened. We've never done that. We would never ever do that. That's a liability. So the two of them get into this whole big argument. We eventually managed to get Tariq Nasheed out the room, and we finished the interview. And I was like, "Listen, I had nothing to do with this, honestly. But let's finish the interview, and we'll put it out." So the interview finishes, and Wack, you know that when we do an interview, it usually takes about a week for us to edit it and put
Yeah,
it out.
that's a fact.
It doesn't come out the same day or the next day. So Tommy is called me and said, "Hey, what's going on with the interview?" And I'm like, "It's going to come out. We're just editing it right now." So he's like, "Oh, I want to talk to you." So we get on the phone, and I explain to him like, "Yo, we're going to put it out. We're just editing it right now, et cetera, et cetera. I had nothing to do with this whole situation with Tariq. You're the one on social media announcing where you're going to be, what time." So Tommy goes, records my phone call, and puts it out on YouTube. And I remember I called Tariq, and I was like, "Tariq, why did you storm? Like when we had you on our platform, we were respectful to you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we were professional. We helped promote your projects. Why would you storm, disrespect our platform in the middle of the interview?" And he's like, "Oh well, I got problems with dude and some, you know." And at the point that Tariq did what he did, Tommy is recording my phone calls and putting them out. I said, "I'm done with both of these guys. Fuck the both of them." I never put out the Tommy interview. I took down the Tariq interview, and I'm basically done with the two of them. So
Right.
so that's an example of some shit that never came out, and I'm never
But
putting that
Vlad,
shit
he
out.
was playing because the fact that he's there interviewing, if you got that kind of problem, he got to come out to interview. What the fuck? Wait till he come out to interview. If you got that kind of problem with him, he got to come out to interview and walk to his car. Then
Right.
you could have confronted him there. No cameras, no
Yeah.
witnesses, and do what you want. So a lot of these dudes just be playing, bro.
Right.
It'd be a clout chase, a safe clout chase. You
And
know
he
what I'm
didn't
saying?
do shit. Tariq is like twice the size of Tommy, and all he did was get in his face and yell. Like he didn't do shit. He could have knocked him out. Like he could have like broken his jaw. He didn't do anything. He just sat there and just yelled, and then was like, I think he was recording himself, like as he's doing it. And the first thing he did was put it out. And I was just
There it
like,
goes.
and this just
Cloud
makes my
chase.
Cloud
platform,
chasing.
yeah, it just makes my platform look like an unsafe place. And this was like something like 10 years ago. And I was just like, okay, I'm cool. I'm going to lock down security, make sure all the doors are locked, have security on site in case this happens again. And yeah, we just won't,
And
we
that's
won't rock with
definitely
certain
his
people.
spot is definitely for those of y'all that don't know, his spot is definitely locked down. Security in the parking lot, security in the hallway,
Right.
security in the motherfucking room where the conversation's happening.
Yeah.
So it ain't wise to go up there trying no shit like that again, because you will not get in there. It won't go the way you think it's gonna go. And I'm gonna let everybody know, bro. If I'm somewhere, my artist is somewhere interviewing, bro, don't come up there approaching the person you got an issue with. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to react as if it's a
Yeah.
disrespect to us. So I'm letting you, don't come, oh, Wack, this ain't got nothing. You're not going to have no time to be saying all that shit. So don't ever bring that shit. You got a problem with Vlad, or you got a problem with fucking Adam, or anybody else that, and you know we sitting down with these people, don't come up there, because, brother, we're not going to stand in your favor. We're going to react.
Hey,
I'm warning you.
hey, yo, Vlad, I got a quick question about that. This one. How'd you feel about that skit that they ran up on you over there at that weirdo China Max spot? I seen you like you wasn't happy about that shit. Can you let
Yeah.
us know how you felt about that shit? What he tried to do to you?
I mean, I feel like this. I was the first person to put China Mac on. When he got out of prison, they reached out to me and said, "Hey, China Mac wants to, he just got out of jail. He wants to do an interview. He was involved in the shooting with Jin's friend, and he wants to talk about that whole story and so forth." So I said, "All right, cool." Put him on, did an interview. That was his introduction to to the internet world. The interview went well, so I reached back out to him. I said, "Hey, do you want to do another one?" Because he was involved in like the, in Chinese gangs in New York. Do you want to? Are you comfortable talking about that? He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he came in, did another interview, and then he became a regular guest over time. Where I bring him in, I'd even paid him, to come in and do interviews. Like he got an appearance fee, for the last, like, I don't know, half dozen times or whatever he did interviews. So me and him had kind of this relationship and somewhat of a friendship. We had dinner before and so forth. So he hit me up one day, and and my thing is, if you do an interview on my platform and you have your own platform and you ask me, I will always say yes. Which is why, Wack, when you called me and said, "Can you do Clubhouse?" What did I tell you?
No, you told me you do my shit, no problem.
No problem.
And then you
I've
told me when you
always,
coming back. I said, set it up. I'll be
yeah,
back. I'll be this cool because
exactly,
it, it,
exactly.
it's an easy thing
It's
interviewing
a,
with
it's an
Vlad.
easy it's an easy thing.
Easy, easy.
China Mac wants to do my platform. He has his own show. All right, cool. So he called me and said, "Hey, can you do my show? It's a live stream." I said, "Cool. Um, I don't know this location. Should I bring security?" He said, "No, don't bring security. It's just gonna be the two of us." So I said, "Okay, I trust you." So I show up to this downtown LA spot without security. Um, I have pepper spray on me in my pocket just in case. So we're doing this interview, and the interview is live. It's being live streamed. Out of nowhere, in the middle of the interview, two guys burst into the room arguing with each other, and they're like, "Oh, fuck you, oh no, yo, whatever." And it's like, I don't know what's happening, but I know that this is live, and I can't really do anything because people are recording this and they're going to put it out. And during the argument, one of the guys said, "I'm about to go get my gun." And that really, kind of put me in a state of concern because if a gun starts to go off, I might get killed. So if you look in the video, you see me kind of zip down my pockets and put my hand in my front pockets, and I grab my pepper spray in my pocket just in case something goes down. Argument keeps kind of escalating and escalating. And then, like, China Mac throws like some confetti on me. He's like, "Oh, okay, the whole thing is a joke." Now, at the time,
That wasn't cool.
at the
Not at
time,
all.
I was like, "All right, my adrenaline is still flowing. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I kind of got through it, and I didn't overreact. I retained my cool. I was calm, everything else like that. But when I started to look back on the situation, I was like, what if I didn't react in the way that I did? It's being like, there's no way to.
That's real.
Once it's live, it's live. What if I had freaked out? What if I ran out of the room? What if I pepper sprayed somebody?
Then he was
You
gonna
know what I
use you
mean?
as content. That's what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't. And when I started to think about it, I'm like, I don't know why China Mac would put me in this position when all I've done was help him, and I wouldn't do something like that to him, and I don't
That's
think he would
crazy.
do that to another executive, because at the end of the day, that's what I am. I'm not just a personality. I'm also an executive. I also run my company. So based on that, it's just sort of left a bad taste in my mouth. And me and China Mac, we're cool. I have no problems with him. I wish him the best. But I decided at that point that I'm not going to bring him back on my platform again.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's some kid shit.
Yeah,
Everybody
and
ain't built for it, bro.
yeah, and
Everybody
listen,
ain't
he
built for it.
apologized. He said he realized he didn't think it all the way through, and he was just trying to create content. I don't think there was a malicious intent necessarily, but I also think that when you deal with certain type of people, I think that you should kind of treat them with more respect, especially considering who they are and the relationship that you guys have together. I mean, I
Vlad,
would I
Vlad,
would
you
bring.
make yourself accessible to real people, and sometimes in that situation, those type of people don't know what's in front of them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Most people in your situation is about 10 layers before a motherfucker can even talk to you, right? And
yeah,
you're not like that. I'm not like that, right?
yeah,
But I don't think he realized overall who the fuck you really were because of how you dealt with him personally.
yeah,
Like you just don't do that shit. Like you're dealing with an exec, you're dealing with somebody who in this game, right? You one of the Jay-Z's of this. You don't just go fucking pranking Jay-Z. You
yeah.
don't just
Right.
fucking go prank Top Dog.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
would have. I
So,
had Leo Cohen on my show. The
yeah.
last thing on my mind was, oh, let me do a prank on Leo Cohen, the head
Nah,
of
you're
YouTube
not doing
Music
that.
Global. Like how I wouldn't even think to do something like that. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, I got this important person here. Let me treat him with the importance. And look, like I paid China Mac to come on my platform. When he asked me, I did it for free. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I'm already doing you a solid, and it just, like I said, it just made me decide that this is not going to be one of my regular guests anymore. But there's no problems between me and him. It's just that people drift apart.
Shit could have went left, Vlad. That shit could have went real left if
It
you
could
really,
it could have
yeah.
went left. Yeah, it could have been
You
left.
know
I could
what?
have brought a gun with me instead of pepper
Yeah,
spray, and
that's
I
a
could have potentially
fact.
shot somebody. You know what I mean?
Not
Like
only that, Vlad, you could have had some fucking health issues, bro. And that shit could have triggered something. People got to think about these things. Y'all want to go prank motherfuckers and play games with motherfuckers. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just because you looking at somebody, you don't know if they got, a heart problem situation. You don't know what the fuck is a high blood pressure situation. And then
yeah,
you do these type of things and they could lead to something. Then you're like, oh, it was just a joke. Yeah, but everything not
yeah.
funny.
But the thing about this is this. It's like we could prank and we could do jokes, and like if you know me in person, I'm silly and I make jokes and everything else like that. But and I remember China Max said that his justification for it was, Vlad sometimes asks uncomfortable questions, sometimes he puts titles that make people feel uncomfortable and whatever, and I just wanted to make him feel a little bit uncomfortable. Well, you could call me to change the title. You don't have to answer a question, but to put someone in a room and then say there's a gun in the room is not a joke. It's not funny. I don't play around with guns. It's not a toy. You don't put a dress on it. You don't parade it around. If I take a gun out, it's because I want to kill somebody. I have to kill somebody. I have guns in my house. I know that once I pull a gun out on someone, I have to shoot them and I'm going to try to kill them because I feel that my life is in danger. I don't think throwing around, talking about guns is funny and content. It's not. I took it very seriously, and I just I don't know whether he told his man to do that or whether he was ad libbing, but I think it was a fuck up on a lot of different levels.
I got a question for you, Vlad.
Mhm.
Do you I heard you mention, or I heard some blogger mention, you feel like you solved the Tupac murder. Do you feel that way, or is that something that was taken out of place?
I mean, I've said that before, but I say it very kind of tongue in cheek. It's like the only people that could solve the Tupac murder are Las Vegas district attorneys if they convict Keefe D. That's the only way officially it's going to get solved. The person that really broke the case was Greg Kading. He's the one that got the Keefe D confession. So I didn't really solve anything, but was I the first person to really lay out the story to the world that really kind of dispelled all the conspiracy theories that, oh, Suge Knight had him killed, oh, the FBI had him killed, like, oh, he's in Cuba right now. I think I was the first person to the general public that put out the story that essentially solved the murder. But no, I technically did not solve anything. Keefe D is currently, innocent until proven guilty. He may end up beating the case. Who knows?
I got a text a week ago say he'll be home in a couple of weeks.
He might be.
His bail is there. He got
Yeah,
a
I
bail.
mean, he's got a bail. If he comes up with the bail money, then he'll be home. And then, and then there's a trial that's going to happen, I think, in, I don't know, next year sometime.
Next year sometime, yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, and his lawyer's saying that Keefe's a liar and he made up all this stuff for some money, and he wasn't even in Las Vegas. And if they're able to prove that, then that's reasonable doubt, and he'll walk free.
No way. They said he wasn't in Las Vegas.
His lawyer said that. There's an interview on a Las Vegas news station that says
God
exactly that.
damn.
Yeah. So you have to. This is what the lawyers do.
Yo, what's up, Vlad? This King Guap again.
What's up, man?
Do you have any words of wisdom to get the upcoming people that's doing interviews and podcasts?
I think that number one, the biggest thing is consistency. Once you start, you have to be prepared to keep going every week for potentially years. When you look at all the big podcasts, all of them took a long time to ramp up. Math Hoffa took them a long time. Took a long time for academics. Took a long time for me. So a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to keep ramping up and I'm going to get that one episode. My first episode is going to be so big, I'm going to blow up. That's probably not going to happen. You're going to be prepared to do 50, 100 episodes before people start really paying attention. So that the consistency, I think, is key. And the other thing is the guests. When you look at all the major podcasts, they all have a high level of guests. When you look at Shannon Sharp and who he gets, you look at Nori and who he's getting. You look at academics and the type of people that he's getting, and even Adam 22. I'm saying, like, he's gotten a lot of people that really early, like King Von and XXXTentacion and and so forth. The strength of the guests has to matter, and I think probably the third thing is you have to realize and really lean into who you are and what makes you unique. Like, that when you watch a Vlad TV interview, you're gonna get a lot of police type questions, right? I don't hide from that. I don't sit there and say, oh, all these people are talking bad about me, let me go ahead and change my style to appease social media. Like, nah. Like, we're going to lean into it, and we're going to really ask the type of questions that people expect us on our platform. When you look at Math Hoffa, he's got that barbershop, setup, and this is what he leans into. So you have to be authentic to who you are and not try to placate everybody and play the middle and just try to please everyone, because ultimately it's not going to go anywhere. People, the Joe Rogans of the world, these types of guys and females, they are very distinct. Tasha K, even, when you see a Tasha K interview, what you're going to be in for. She leans into it, even to her own detriment sometimes. So that's the thing. You got to figure out who you are and really express that consistently on the platform that you've created.
All right, thank
Yo,
you for that.
so Vlad, you got a lot of content out there. You got a lot of viral clips out there. I want to throw a few out there and get your take on them. The first one I want to throw out there is the Soldier Boy,
Yeah,
video.
right. Yeah, like when you're doing an interview, you don't really realize what you have. You're with me, I'm kind of zoned out. I'm thinking about the next question. I'm thinking about how I can incorporate what he's doing. So when I asked Soldier Boy about that home invasion, he did the whole pow pow, that whole thing. I didn't think anything of it. And it wasn't until it came out and people started doing the Soldier Boy challenge. I think Joe Budden was actually one of the first ones to do it. And it just kind of became, you know, a life of its own. So that was an interesting interview. And, but I didn't really know it was going to do what it did. And it even,
It
I mean,
went
Childish
crazy.
Gambino, when he did his music video for "Feels Like Summer," like he recreated the Soldier Boy interview in the actual animated, video. Like it kind of became a cultural thing, which I didn't think was going to happen, but the internet has, the internet's undefeated. They're going to do what they do.
All right, the next one I want to ask you about is the little Boosie one when he was talking about D Wade's son about chopping the chopping the thing off.
I mean, listen, man, Boosie's going to be Boosie. Boosie's another one of these guys that really lean into who they are. Boosie has a game manager who, is with him all the time. His daughter is gay. But he has his thoughts about raising kids a certain type of way, especially trans kids. I personally think that if you want to be trans and if you want to transition, that shouldn't be done before you're 18. Until you're an adult, you shouldn't be able to make those types of decisions. And people have a differing set of opinion for it. I think Dwayne Wade loves his son and he wants to support him to the best of his ability. And the decisions he's making, I think, come out of love. But when you start parading, you start going on media runs and parading this around, people are going to have their opinions and they're not always going to be positive. But Boosie's going to say what Boosie's going to say. I don't always agree with everything Boosie says. There's a lot of stuff I do agree with Boosie says. What Boosie says. But Boosie's going to be Boosie.
Word. The Bradley Daylight interviews.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Daylight is that, like, when he walks in the studio, you don't know who you're going to get. Like, he always, for the last like dozen or so interviews leading up to the Bradley one, he always had something different, weird about what he would dress up as. Like, he would not wear a shirt and have a whole bunch of purple rags on and a bunch of weird, colored on tattoos. Or once he came in, he didn't have a head. He had like this headless thing going on. And with the Bradley episode, he came in with his face painted white and a blonde wig. And I remember just cracking up when I saw it. And, I got introduced to Bradley, and that kind of became kind of his biggest character. In fact, Wack, I think that's when he talked about Blueface for the first time. And I think Blueface reposted it.
Yo, when you gonna have the Wack 100 Bootsy face off, bro? That'll be
Boosie
big
Oh
on
face
my
off.
shit.
shit.
Epic.
Yeah, you know
Oh
that's my
shit,
partner.
I
that'd
mean,
be
I'll
lit.
talk to him. I mean, y'all
Yo,
y'all kind of went at it at one point.
nah,
So,
we ain't never win that. We had our social media thing.
yeah,
See, when guys like me and Bootsy gonna go at it, then nobody knows,
yeah.
right? But we had our social media thing, and tell Bootsy, I think he's gonna duck it because he knows my facts are there. I think he's scared of the facts I'm gonna put on the table.
I think when it comes to someone like a Boosie, it's not going to happen on camera. If the two of y'all get on the phone together and work
We've
out
done
whatever.
that. We did that 10 times. You know that's my partner, right?
Okay.
You know he does.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. I would. That's why
Yeah.
when you ask him about it, he gonna think about it. He know it'll work. But ask him about it because
I'll bring it up, but you
yeah,
also got to think that Boosie doesn't really do interviews with other people. All of our interviews are
I
just
ain't
with
just
himself
other
to us.
people. That motherfucker that been in studios. We done did all kind of shit together. It's some
Yeah.
conversations we need to have. God damn it, and tell him we gonna bring it to Vlad. What's the problem?
Hey, man, listen, I'm down for it. You're going to have to convince Boosie. If Boosie's down for it, I'm down for it.
Man, it'd be great for the culture.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't kick
mean,
it
at the
back.
end of the day, we share one thing in common. We respect the Vlad platform. I
Yeah.
mean, Boosie, we all partners, Boosie. I mean, shit. We
Yeah. Man,
respect the
listen,
Vlad
I'm with
platform.
it. I'm totally with it, but it's ultimately down with Boosie. I remember there was a whole thing that happened recently where Aiden Ross he was supposed to interview Boosie, and he actually offered him, a good amount of money to do the interview. And the day the interview was supposed to happen, Aiden's assistant called up Boosie and said, "Hey, instead of you just doing the interview, we're gonna have you and Charleston White together."
Oh
And him
nah,
and
but
Charles,
nah,
yeah.
that's some
And
bullshit.
Boosie
Yeah,
was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it."
nah, that's
And
some bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was some bullshit. And then Aiden basically said, "Oh, I canceled it because of my friendship with Charleston." Now you didn't cancel it. You try to do a bait and switch
yeah,
and
that's some, nah,
and
that's
put
some
two
bullshit.
people on live who don't like each other, which is whack. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
some
respect that.
bullshit. Nah, that,
Yeah,
nah, that's some bullshit.
yeah,
That,
yeah. I
I
didn't.
think, the only person that'll do a sit down interview with Charleston White right now in that lane is probably be me. And
Yeah,
I talked to Charleston about the interview. I said, listen, we're gonna interview. These are the things you can't say. I'm telling you what you can't say. Right now, I'm gonna sit down and be professional. I'm gonna interview you. But these things, if you start to say these things, then you're gonna experience some other shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't get up there. You can't say fuck the Crips. You can't say fuck the Bloods. Right? I don't want to hear about no rape and shit. None of that type of
yeah.
shit. Other than that, we can have a conversation. Don't think because I'm a Blood, you can get up there and disrespect the Crips and vice versa. You can't do that. So, he was all for it, and then I didn't hear nothing from him again.
Listen, Charleston is Charleston, and he gonna do his own way.
But
Sometimes to his own detriment. You know.
yeah, yeah. Some shit has longevity, some shit has a little life. So we'll sit back. We just sit a bunch of people go up, come down.
Yeah.
When these people go up, keep going up. So we'll sit back and watch it. All I can say is we're gonna continue to do what we've been doing. And what we've been good at is plugging into one another, for the resources and things that we may need to, just to keep our ships in line and keep our ships going. I think the people we fuck with, Vlad, we don't mind seeing that sail way up there. We know that's Vlad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vlad don't mind seeing, who the fuck is that over there in those waters? Okay, that's Adam and Wack. Who was that over there? That's Joe. But we don't mind it because when we need to come in each other's waters, right, we give each other passage. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, I've
doesn't
always felt
matter.
like all of us could do better by working with each other, doing our own platforms, anything else like that. When people beef with me, for reasons honestly on their end, like Joe Budden doesn't like me. I heard Gilly Wallow don't like me, and it's just like I don't have a problem with these guys. You know what I mean? And we all lose out by not working together. Me and Nori had a falling out, but we fixed it. And we came together as men. And I did his platform. It did like 1.3 million views. It was one of his biggest interviews of the year. And this is how we all win by working with each other because none of these beefs are serious. Like none of them are. It's all just competition or I don't even know what it is. But it's not about business. And at the end of the day, what do we do?
Well, DJ Vlad, this is AB up top. Do you have any other closing statements? We appreciate you for being here. We know you have things to do. Anyone else on the floor have any other questions before I let DJ Vlad go?
Hey Vlad,
What's
real
up?
quick, this is Beast, man. I got one quick question, man. What
Yeah.
was your scary? I know you interviewed Cartel Hitman, Sammy the Bull, some really dangerous motherfuckers. Who was the? I'm sitting across from this motherfucker. Who was that?
Well, the interview wasn't in person. It was remote because he was in Florida and I was in at the time. But I recently interviewed Joey Merlino, who is boss of the Philly Mafia. And I definitely, it wasn't a scared thing because I don't really get scared in interviews. It's like I'm here to do a job and that's it. Like fear doesn't really go in as process. But sitting with him, I realized that, okay, like this guy is still very serious. This is not a guy that's retired and is talking about a bunch of stuff that happened a long time ago. This, who knows? I don't know. But it was different than a lot of the others that I did. The other time was Mike Tyson, he got mad at me in the middle of the interview, and scary because it's Mike Tyson.
Iron
And
Mike.
Oh
yeah,
man, I
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
ask you about
and yeah,
that
and
when
we
you
were
said something
actually
about.
we were doing it at his boxing ring in L.A. and we were actually I was doing the interview in the actual ring, so I'm actually in the ring with Mike Tyson, and I said something that kind of upset him, and I'm seeing him getting angry, and I'm like, if he takes a swing at me, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, it's Mike Tyson. So that was definitely probably like my scariest moment. Where it was like, okay, something, the wrong word. I gotta talk my way out of this. The wrong word, at me, and God knows what's gonna happen after that. You know, that might be the last
Probably
thing
die.
yeah, I might
I
die.
wanna I wanna ask you this. Is that why you let the other dude finish the interview? Cause I seen and it was like soon as you said you was talking about Zip and you
Yeah.
said
No, actually, I finished the interview. Zab Judah. It was really Zab Judah's interview. He
right,
did the and then and I
right,
was there the whole time. And at the end, I was like, "Hey, Mike, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions myself?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead," because Mike was already familiar with me, that he knew. So yeah, I finished off that interview myself, in all
okay,
honesty. But yeah, it was Mike Tyson, man. I mean,
right.
it is what it is.
You said something about Zip. He attractive.
Isaac, what do you mean attractive? I'm like, oh shit, Mike Tyson just thought I called him gay. Like, no, I didn't mean that. Really, I'm not calling you gay, Mike. Let me talk my way out. I'm not. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But I mean, these things
DJ.
happen.
Well, Wack, you have something else?
Crazy part about it is Mike is a real easygoing guy. I guess for me, I know him, so it's kind of like, but you have this look in his eyes where you like, okay, what the fuck is going on in there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
just look at you with this cold stare. It
yeah.
don't mean nothing but if you, who's gonna stop you?
He flipped out on TK Kirkland. If you watch the TK Kirkland interview, like Mike was like, he says like, yeah, and I really hate myself, and TK's like, no, but don't tell me how I'm supposed to feel. Don't tell me how I feel. And it was like, it was a moment,
Yeah, Mike a
or
damn fool.
when Boosie did the interview with Mike, and Mike started talking about his his gay comments, and I guess
Oh yeah.
Mike has it was kind of you know he wasn't Boosie, but it was definitely tense. You see what I'm saying? So Mike, and here's the thing. Like I remember when I interviewed Evander Holyfield, I was talking to him about this before the interview, and Evander was like, "Yeah," he's like, "I don't know why Mike does that. Like, I think he messes with people sometimes just to do it." And Holyfield, who's beaten Mike both times, is like the exact opposite. When you sit down with Holyfield, it's a nice, polite, very well mannered man. Who is you could ask him anything. He never gets upset. He never gets angry. He talks about his wins and his losses. Never talks bad about anybody. And you just realize here's two guys that are in very similar positions, but one is very different than the other.
Well, Mike is burnt out in his own respect. That's my partner, right? So it's kind of like he's like a moody guy, but you really can't read him because he has this fucking 1,000-mile empty stare. So you like, you know what I'm saying? You don't know if
He
he's
has
gonna
that. Yeah.
trigger him. Yeah, so it's kind of like, and then he'll just bust out laughing sometimes. You be like, yo, what the fuck? Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Blueface, when he interviewed him, he said, hey, man, if I start fighting this motherfucker, you better help me.
Yeah, that shit wild.
But look, man, Vlad, we appreciate you pulling up, bro. Appreciate you. Let me know when you need me down. I mentioned to Adam, I said, man, Vlad might want to do us both sometime. You never know it.
Yeah.
Never know, right?
Yeah.
But we definitely gonna pull up. Appreciate, like I
Of course,
told
man.
you, Vlad, and I'm Vlad. Now let me ask you this question, because I know everybody has this crazy perception. The hunter side of Clubhouse is very disciplined, very respectful. we need to be. Now, when
Yeah.
somebody come over here with that bullshit, yeah, we can get on our bullshit. You been in here for about, what's your feel of it, Vlad?
Hey man, it's great. I guess I wasn't totally aware with how the moderation works and how of a more of a controlled environment it is. And I remember you mentioned that to me beforehand, and I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm gonna take your word for it. And seeing how it works, I think that Clubhouse has sort of matured over time. And I guess unfortunately, when you see anything from Clubhouse start to trend or go viral, on other platforms like YouTube or Twitter,
Bullshit.
it's always a bunch of crazy. It's like the craziest shit, like a bunch of people screaming at each other and anything else like that. So that kind of became, to me, I thought that's what it always is and what it always kind of devolves into. But yeah, no, I've definitely learned that.
Nah, they got another side of it called the bloody bunch. You don't want to go over there. They hollering, they screaming, motherfuckers throwing glasses and shit, beating their kids in the
Out
back,
of
all crazy
control.
shit. You see anything that say bloody bunch, you never want to go over there. Do
Yeah,
not touch over. Other than that, anytime you need anything ran or whatever, you got something you want to talk about, if you want to pop up, you see the way the environment is over here, where it always is on the 100 side of Clubhouse, very disciplined. We saw all kind of people in there, fucking all kind of people from all sides, all parts of the world. So appreciate you pulling up, bro.
yeah.
It's love on a Sunday. I know you're a family man. You're not gonna have your wife putting me on the fucking hit list. You know what I'm saying? So, but let you go. Anybody else got any last thing to say to Vlad before he rolls?
I
I
just
just want
wanted to
to.
tell him, Unc, like, he invited to the cookout as long as he don't get that girl fired from Princeton, man. Can he put on a record? He's not getting that black woman fired from Princeton. Cause
Man, I'm not even doing that, man.
they want me
I
to
was
hold
just
you
talking
accountable,
shit.
Vlad.
I'm not calling Princeton. I'm not making no complaints. I was just,
So
Okay,
I was
Vlad was
okay.
trolling.
talking.
Vlad was
All right,
trolling.
I
cool.
was
Cause they
talking.
wanted me to
Listen,
hold
you
you
want to talk
Talk
accountable.
the
your shit to
bag.
me? I'll talk my shit back, and I knew it was gonna go
That's
viral and
right.
whatever else, man. I don't care about none of that. I'm not trying to get anyone fired from
That's
their
right.
job. It's
Salute,
whatever.
salute,
Wack gonna
salute.
teach
Love.
Vlad how to
Thank you.
troll. Wack teaching Vlad how to troll.
Hey, Vlad, if you want to
Hey,
hear a
I was
crash
to the
out,
best.
just let
DJ
us
Vlad.
It's all
know.
good.
We'll crash out on the nigga. You hear that shit live, bro.
Hey,
Yeah,
Hey,
Vlad,
man.
you got a
Vlad.
lot of
Thank
Hey,
shit to go talk. They trying to cancel you on Twitter,
It's
man. So
all good,
you got
man.
a lot of
Y'all
shit
can
on
keep
X to go
trying.
talk.
You can keep
Hey,
trying.
Vlad.
Appreciate
No
that,
doubt.
Vlad. Appreciate
Hey,
Hold
everything,
on.
Vlad.
salute.
Hey,
Hey,
Vlad, if
salute.
you could.
Salute,
Appreciate you,
Vlad, man. Salute
Vlad.
to y'all,
Yeah.
Hey,
man. Salute.
Vlad.
All
Hold
right,
on,
y'all.
watch
Vlad,
y'all. Hey,
the
Vlad, if
top
you
right
could.
says leave quietly whenever you
Oh
want to
shit.
roll.
DJ
Salute to
Vlad, we
Hey,
Vlad.
appreciate you
Salute,
Vlad,
coming
before you
salute.
out.
hit it, if you could go up top, click the 100 ENT show and follow the club. And
How
if
do I
you
do
ever
that?
pop back up, go up to the top.
Okay.
You see where it say 100 ENT show.
Yeah.
Just touch it
Okay.
and then join club.
Join the. Okay.
Join the house. Yep.
All right. I just did.
I
We
So
appreciate you,
appreciate
bro.
that. We appreciate you coming out today. Thank you all for showing up for the 100 ENT Show exclusive interview with Wack 100. Shout out to the Queen R&B, DJ Vlad. Vlad TV came through for us today.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Shout out to everyone on stage, all the mods, everyone with the great questions, and we look forward to seeing you again. 100,
Yeah.
y'all.
Thank you for having me.
100.
100, man.
100.
Love
100.
Yeah.
100.
It's 100 side to no side.
For sure.
Shout out Wack for putting that together, man. Wack, another dope one, man. Another shit.
Yeah,
Shout out.
so
That
I
was
mean, Vlad one of the legends in this shit. So it's
And
great for y'all.
he gave out some free
Shout out to you,
games.
Wack.
Yo, that
It's
shit
great
was
for y'all
dope,
to be
man.
able to
That
ask
shit was.
some questions and get it from him direct.
Yeah, we appreciate that shit, no bullshit.
If y'all did enjoy the interview, go ahead and throw some hundreds in the chat. Let us know what y'all thought about it. We appreciate everybody again for showing up and showing out. Y'all, we did awesome.
Do he know
100.
how to leave? He probably don't know how to leave.
Shout out to Vlad, man.
Vlad, at top right, it says leave quietly up top right in red. You hit that, then it'll let you leave the room.
Slid out.
So,
You know how you slide the screen up to close it? He probably closed it and then
okay.
it still show the profile.
Yeah, it take like a
Got you. Well,
couple
fuck
minutes.
it. It's all right. I ain't tripping it. So, look, y'all definitely did a great job. There's a few people was on my stage. I didn't know who them niggas was. I was on high
Then a
security.
motherfucker whack. I kept shooting motherfuckers off the stage. If you got shot, I
I was
did it
shooting
too.
motherfuckers.
T,
It
cuz
was
you got dropped, I dropped you. Cause we beams were getting a little loose. I ain't gonna lie, team. When we hit a controlled environment, I know people come in with beams. We trying to control this shit though, regardless. I know you guys are admins and shit like that, but
I
we
just
gotta.
wasn't tripping that T cuz is the elder of the
Yeah,
room, so I got that
I
from him.
get that. I,
But it was a few
Goddamn beast,
people.
bro.
It was a few people
yo,
that I was I hit their profile. I didn't know who the fuck these motherfuckers were. One
Yeah.
motherfucker, what's that nigga from Miami I packed up? The old ass rapper. The one
Trick
page.
Daddy.
Uh, no.
One other motherfucker was all Nipsey Hustle. I didn't follow none of them. I said, oh no. So you motherfuckers with these beans with your long lost friends, don't fuck around because next time I'm going to start dropping the whole stage.
yep.
Because it got to be one of y'all motherfuckers with these beans with these long lost friends trying to be something you ain't. And all you did was end up looking crazy because I'm going through all profiles. When y'all was asking questions, all I was doing was going through the whole stage.
Hey,
Remember
Wack, I
people
ain't
were
gonna
like,
lie. Just to let you
them
know, I know you're
people,
gonna get
remember
a
people was like,
message.
why
I
you
shot
ain't
Stan
on the
out the room
stage?
because I didn't want nobody to accidentally bring him up, so I shot him out the room, man. That was me.
Man, Stan's
Yeah,
so motherfucking
yeah.
stupid.
I
I
shot him
was
out
Yo,
the room. I was standing on there. I shot him out.
Stan don't realize, right? Like, yo, bro, every space ain't for the clown shit. You know what this nigga text me? Vlad told me when I got Drake, to go get Drake, and then he was gonna interview me. Man, shut the fuck up, bro.
What?
Yeah,
Like this
So
dude be on
Vlad
so many
text him.
drugs,
yeah.
he starting to believe his own fucking lot, bro. You not coming on my stage asking this man no dumbass shit. Want to come on my stage, say some weird shit, just so you can have a clip. For all you niggas out there, nigga, I'm cracking down. All you niggas doing weird shit, saying weird shit. I used to come in your room support, and ain't happening no more. When we done finna get back to really my media shit, bringing celebrities and bringing guests over here, nigga, all you niggas is weird and all that. We ain't doing none of that. I ain't giving you no more free content. Y'all want to bang? I'm gonna let you bang with my knives. I'm gonna mute the fuck up, right? All you motherfuckers that got my shit on YouTube in a minute, y'all keep playing, that's gonna get scrubbed. So either motherfuckers gonna get some respect in their life or you gonna get the fuck out of my life. So Stan, no, nigga. You're not coming on my floor doing no bozo the clown shit. Know where the fuck you at. I can't trust that no stupid shit gonna come out of your mouth like, yeah, Vlad, last we talked, you told me go get Drake and me and you could do some business. The nigga sends me a picture of him and Drake. Look like Drake was about 17 years old, bro. So now he's painting
Stan
the
G was
picture.
41 years old when he took that
13
picture.
years
He's
ago.
painting the
Stan G
picture.
was 41 at that time he took that.
He's painting the picture that 12 years ago, Vlad told him, if you could go get Drake, then me and you could do some business. And you really think you're going to come on my floor and say some dumbass shit like that? Bro, if you haven't noticed, we're the most disciplined side of the app, the most structured side of the app. Nigga, depending on how you act, depending on if you're gonna come on my stage. That's why I wasn't bringing Epic ass up because Epic could come off the fucking mic and say some weird ass shit. Doubles, I don't know. I seen 8 doubles. I didn't trust none of them.
Whack, me neither. Me neither.
So
Until I.
I don't know. I don't know
Hey,
who.
Nah,
I ain't
Wack,
gonna
it's
lie.
only
I
one, Wack.
I brought up double.
Nah, bro. It was about 4, 5 of them
I
motherfuckers.
only
They
brought
stealing
up.
my name, Unc. They trying
There
to.
was like 8 of them in the chat, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't trust any one of them. That's why I
Definitely
was looking.
I didn't
was.
trust. I didn't trust. Yeah, I was. That's why I was like, yo, what doubles is the motherfucking doubles? You know what I'm
Mine
saying?
is
So
caps lock, Unc.
Well,
yeah, I
why
didn't
did
see
I
that.
get shot?
Who get shot? I don't know.
Hmm.
I didn't even know you were probably because you got this
I
Ashley
brought up
shit
Ash.
going on.
I brought you up.
I know,
Yeah.
but if somebody shot
Vlad
me,
just got
Epic,
up out of here.
Epic. We gonna leave you. We gonna bring you on
I
stage now, Epic. You could be up here now,
to
but
him at all.
no,
I didn't even know that guy like that.
Nani,
So
you
whether
ain't the
We was
only
gonna
one.
make
I
sure
got
your
pictures
ass
of
okay,
was
him
we
here.
didn't
girl,
make
I'm not
sure.
too.
tripping.
But hold on, hold on.
Whatever.
That shit was
Yo,
on the
team,
X.
Hey,
team. You
one
got hold on. One
mic
mic, one mic. Hey,
though.
I
team.
don't know why Naughty got shot.
Yeah, you guys asking the same questions, but that's the only thing I gotta say. If you guys gonna
And
be
who
in the
was that,
interview,
bro? Yeah, don't. Yeah,
don't ask the
don't.
same question, man. Keep that
Nah,
You
shit.
need to
no.
write
What
some
happened
questions
was
down
with
and
that
Y'all
notes or
let
was
him
something.
talk.
What happened was you get niggas showing up. You show up late, don't ask no questions. Straight up. If you ain't here at the start of the room, don't ask no fucking questions, bro. Because you'll bring your dumb ass in here and ask a question that niggas didn't ask 40 minutes ago.
That's why I stayed on mute. Cause I'm like, I don't know what questions was asked. Yep.
Yeah,
I
so
got
and
kicked
motherfucker,
too, but it's all good.
who got kicked?
Yeah, I got shot
Killer.
too.
Yo, that's the end of the interview. It was a pretty good interview. I gotta give it up to Brock, Bang, AB, the whole 100 side. Salute to Wack 100 for bringing Vlad to Clubhouse. That was a pretty epic moment. As you can see, they discussed a lot of different issues with Vlad. He definitely touched bases on the Boosie situation with Aiden Ross and how he was trying to set him up with Charleston White. Initially, Aiden Ross was saying that, he decided not to do it out of respect for Charleston White. But Vlad revealed that it was a play and a setup to try to get him and Charleston White to be interviewed at the same time. So that was pretty dope, man. Shout out to Vlad for coming. They definitely made him feel comfortable. He was definitely giving up a lot of information. Him and Wack 100 seemed to have a good relationship. Yeah, it was a pretty dope interview, man. That's all I can say, man. I really enjoyed it. I hope y'all will enjoy it. If you made it this far, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and hit that like button for me, man. It'll help the channel out a lot, man. Salute to Vlad and Wack again.